And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. We started taping our Oklahoma Sports Scene show. We're on the second deck of the Wee Street Ice Center. Fabulous new facility in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 2 big sheets of ice. The man who made it all happen, Andy Skirto. First, he bought the Tulsa Oilers hockey team and the Oilers indoor football team, then turned the Macy's into the Wee Street Ice Center. We asked him if he's pleased with the project here, and then talked to Rob Murray, hockey coach, to get a tour of his facilities. And we welcome you inside the magnificent new Wee Street Ice Center in South Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome to the new home of the Tulsa Ice Oilers hockey team. A 140,000 square foot premier entertainment and dining complex featuring not one but 2 full sheets of ice. And welcome to our new home, our host site for Oklahoma Sports Scene here in the Oilers Broadcast Center, second floor overlooking the West Rink. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, host of the show. And the guy who's made it all possible, this gentleman right here, Andy Skirto, the owner of the Oilers ice hockey team, Oilers football team, and the Wee Street Ice Center. Andy, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
What a facility. And to meet everything you wanted, what do you think about this place?
Oh, definitely. It's been a lot of work, and we've added a lot to it. We've done a lot more than an ice center, as you can tell, but we're really proud of what we've created.
Let's talk about some of the features of this magnificent facility.
Well, I mean, obviously the 2 sheets of ice is a big part of it, but we have the 350-person sports bar, concession downstairs. We have party rooms you can rent. We have the golf simulating rooms, 2 of those, golf, hockey simulators. The arcade behind us, which you'll probably hear in the background, playing some music right now. Full broadcast, teams playing. I'm sure I'm free. Oh, Pro Shop. We got a full Pro Shop of gear now, so a lot going on in this facility. A lot of fun here.
And this facility is not just for the pros, right? You're making this a family entertainment type center. A lot of events coming up.
That's the idea, is really, so I call it an ice entertainment center usually, because we have a lot more than ice going on. We have all kinds of entertainment, plus we can cover the ice and do parties, weddings, axe throwing, right? We have the axe throwing competition. Right. We have a huge corporate event coming with 800 people. They're going to cover part of the ice and do that, then do a little ice show for them. So we have a lot of different options we can do. If you've got an idea, we can make it happen inside this event center. It's just a huge facility.
Now, what can the public do in these 2 different rinks? You have free skating, you have hockey teams, right?
Yeah, so we have obviously the public skates, so we'll get the music going and the lights moving and all that fun stuff. We do those quite often. You'll see them on the schedule every weekend for sure. Free skate, so if you just want to come by and skate for a while, those are every day. But then we have our learn to skate, learn to play hockey programs, give hockey a try. So those go on every few weeks. You just come out and try it. We lend you all the equipment, and you can go out and see what it's like to try to play hockey, right? Coaches on ice to help out. And then, of course, we have full hockey, everything from youth to adult league, co-ed, women's league. And then we have the pro team. So we have the pro team will be practicing here. You can come out and watch them practice every morning when they're in town. We have the juniors team will be playing next year, and then we have the college team. So OSU will be playing here next year, too.
And we welcome you back inside the Wee Street Ice Center and into the locker room with Coach Rob Murray here to Tulsa Oilers. And Coach, what about these new digs here?
Pretty nice, Chris. I mean, it's well, brand new is never a bad thing. So we're really excited to get in here. I know it's been a long time and a couple delays, but I mean, quite honestly, I was expecting that. I think you always do with construction. There's always delays of some sort, but coming up real quick here, and it's really exciting to be in here.
Your 21st season in pro hockey, a lot of coaching, a lot of crossing America, crossing Canada. How does this facility compare with the ones you've been and worked in?
Nothing compares to this. I mean, honestly, we, as a minor league team, my majority of my career being a player or coach has always been in the minor leagues, and even in the better places, like the practice rinks are what they are. They're like OIC. I mean, I think people have a tendency to kind of say, oh, the OIC is too old and this and that, and it's just, well, that's where everybody else that's where everybody else really practices. So in those type of facilities, and this is state of the art. I would imagine this ranks up against a lot of NHL practice facilities.
Well, give us some of the features of your locker room here and the facilities inside here.
Well, we got this obviously a dedicated locker room here, big training facility that's got 2 hot tubs, one hot, one cold, and then down the hall, with the equipment manager's got more room than he needs, and then down the hall, Scott and I have our office, and then you've got the two ice surfaces. That the one side here's where the North American League junior team's going to play next season. It's got some stands. I think Andy said maybe 1,100 people they can fit in.
Right.
And so this will be our side that we'll practice on every day. And then there's the other side that's got curling rings and different things for. I mean, both sides will be open outside of when we practice here.
Right.
But the other side, like I said, it's got curling rings and different things like that. That it's multi-used facility.
Now these are two NHL though regulation size sheets of ice,
yes,
right?
Yeah, no,
wow.
No different than your normal size that we play on every night. OIC is a little bit smaller,
right.
So when you're practicing over there, it's a little tighter. But both of these rinks are regulation size. Yes.
So welcome to Tulsa's fabulous new Wee Street Ice Center. You can come out with your family and enjoy it yourself here at 4143 South Yale in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We'll be right back with the leader of the Cowboys, Oklahoma State Athletic Director Chad Weiberg. That's straight ahead, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Winning action continues throughout the summer at Remington Park. Simulcast racing begins daily before noon from the top tracks across North America. Jackpot play is always available as the casino is always open. Mark your calendars now for the 2024 Thoroughbred season at Remington Park, starting August 16th and continuing through December 13th. Winning racing and casino play every day at Remington Park.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
It was on July 1st, 2021, that Chad Weiberg became the new athletic director at Oklahoma State University. Within a few weeks, Oklahoma and Texas left to throw the Big 12 into chaos. The following months, the Big 12 has added 8 teams. The first of our two-part interview with Chad Weiberg. We asked him about all these dramatic changes.
Well, first of all, hello, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a remarkable couple of years, and sort of a remarkable change. If you go back to that time in July of 2021 and the narrative that was around the Big 12 conference at that time, was talking about everything from significant revenue reduction from our media rights holders to the possibility of the Big 12 breaking apart. Fast forward to today, and the narrative around the Big 12 is completely changed. I think we've solidified the conference as obviously one of the players in major college athletics for the future. And there was a lot that went into that, and a lot of people who played significant roles in that. Commissioner Bowlesby, led the entry of the 4 new members. I think from late July to September. So a pretty short period of time before we had Central Florida and Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU coming into the league. And that certainly played a big role, I think, in just stabilizing the conference at that time, and allowed for sort of the rest of it to be put in motion. The board, the Big 12 board of directors, the presidents and chancellors, I think, did a great job in selecting Brett Yormark as the new commissioner of the conference. And he was absolutely, I think, the right person for the job at the right time. Has done an excellent job with his understanding of the way entertainment and media works, his connections in those fields of positioning the Big 12 to go into the media rights negotiations early, and really just put the conference in a position to be ready to take opportunity if opportunity present itself. And of course, we didn't know what that would look like. We didn't know exactly how that would play out, but at the end of the day, there was opportunity, and it worked out really well for the Big 12. And so excited about the future.
Well, Brad Yormark joined us August of 2022 as the new commissioner of the Big 12. And shortly after that, about 100 days after that, he completed a $2.3 billion media rights deal with ESPN and Fox. And that's certainly a big part of this whole picture here.
Absolutely. Yep. That was a huge part of it. And again, I think it just really set us up to be opportunistic. Should there be people that are schools that were looking for, new homes, and that's what we started to see. I think, Colorado certainly was the first one that I think just liked what they saw was happening in the Big 12, saw the stability in the Big 12, and that kind of was, I think, part of leading to the rest of it. But certainly he did all the right things, made the right moves with the negotiation to put the Big 12 in a strong position to be opportunistic, to see how this all played out.
Well, you've got some good bloodlines, a good background when it comes to figuring out things like this. The Weiberg name, very prominent here in the conference. Of course, your uncle Kevin was the Big 12 commissioner for some 9 years and working now out at USC. But how important has he been? How has he helped guide you through all of this, Chad, through with OSU?
Yeah, he's been great, obviously. And yes, I've, just kind of watched him, obviously, through the years of being Big 12 conference commissioner. He was a part of putting the Big 10 network together. He was involved at the Pac-12 in different capacities through the years too. And partly because of that, ironically, there's been some things that we haven't been able to discuss directly because we don't want to create any conflicts there. But in general, he's just been very helpful to me all along the way, and just kind of having, an understanding of what is happening in college athletics, sort of the trends, where things are going, what's valued, those kinds of things. So certainly a huge mentor of mine.
Well, Chad, help us with the math now. Let's see. We're the Big 12, and then we were with 10 teams. Then we're going to be the Big 12 with 8 teams. Then the Big 12 with 12 teams. Now it looks like in 2024, the Big 12 was 16 teams. What are we going to call ourselves?
Well, for now, we're going to still be the Big 12. I'm sure that will be a discussion that we continue to have with Commissioner Yormark. Again, that's something that fits right into his strengths of understanding branding and marketing. But, I think the thing about it is, and it's kind of an irony a little bit, is through this process, I think we've built some really good equity in the name Big 12. And yes, I get the number doesn't match anything anymore, but I'm not sure that matters. But when you have schools talking about being excited about being part of the Big 12 and what that means for them and their institutions and their fan bases, I think that gives you an insight into the equity that's been built into the name of the Big 12 Conference.
Well, certainly Brett Yormark has gotten some great reviews, and understand, Chad, his background is incredible. We'll talk about CEO, president, business operations, and strategy for nowhere less than Jay-Z's Rock Nation Entertainment. So a whole fresh new look from an athletic commissioner standpoint.
Yes. And one of the things that, yes, and he's brought a really, really good skill set to us. He's, I think he's done a great job of bringing new ideas to us. He's pushed us out of our comfort zones. I can tell you that. He brings things to the table that, quite frankly, probably our first reaction to it is, what is he talking about? Or who is that? But it's been really, really good. But the other thing about Brett, and what I think we all really appreciate about him, is he also, he admits what he doesn't know, that college athletics is not his background. And so he is he relies on us to kind of provide that, sort of information behind the scenes, that background. And if there's things that he brings to the table that for whatever reason aren't going to work, whatever, he backs off of them, goes a different direction, and starts bringing new ideas to us. And so I couldn't, and I think I speak for all of the ADs, we couldn't be more appreciative of just that, the constant ideas and the innovation that he's bringing, but also the, just the partnership that we have with him in understanding college athletics and where it's going.
Coming up, part 2 of our special interview with Chad Weiberg, the Oklahoma State Athletic Director, gives an update on the $325 million OSU facilities project. Straight ahead.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. The OK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
In the second part of our interview with Oklahoma State Athletic Director Chad Weiberg, we discussed the hot-button topics in college football athletics, the portal, and, of course, NIL, name, image, likeness. Also, what's the progress on the $325 million facilities vision plan for the Cowboys?
That was something that obviously was took a lot of time, effort, energy to plan. There were we'd had conversations going on about what are our future needs for some time, conversations with our coaches, our teams, our programs. And we talked a lot about what is the right way to approach that. Should we just, focus on one facility and work to get that done and then move to the next one? At the end of the day, we felt like it was better just to present the entire plan to our fan base, to our donor base, so that they could be a part of prioritizing what that looks like and what the timing looks like. So, yes, it is a big number when you aggregate it all together. We estimated it in today's dollars to be probably a minimum of $325 million. But it isn't about the aggregate number. It still is about each of the individual projects. And so that's the way we're approaching it, and having great conversations with our donors and trying to just solve problems. And you're right, there's a lot going on in college athletics, and we're asking our fans and our donors to do a lot of things. But it's also very competitive. And as we look around the Big 12 conference, we look around the country, facilities continue to be part of it. There's schools right here in our conference that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on new facilities. And so we just don't have the luxury of stopping and stand. We have great facilities, but the minute you stop and stand still, you're falling behind, as you know. And so we've got to keep pressing forward. And we feel like that's what we owe to Boone Pickens and the donors who have put us in this position now. Is they wouldn't want us to just rest and stay where we are. They'd want us to continue to press forward. And so we're having good conversations. We're making progress. We have architects. We've hired architects to start the design phase of the Human Performance and Innovation Complex, and so we're making headway there, and hopefully we'll be making announcements that we're moving forward with breaking ground here in the near future.
We're also talking about just not football, which already kind of concentrates on, Chad, but a new wrestling training facility, a new softball stadium, an indoor track, a new training center for basketball upgrades to the equestrian center and the Carson Creek Golf Course. It's quite a big plan here.
It is. It really touches on every student athlete that we have, every program that we have, and part of it is it's a little bit of a domino effect, right? So once football moves into the new center and vacates the West End zone, that gives us the opportunity to turn the West End zone into a student athlete success center. We'll move our academic center into there. That's where our training center is. That's where our NIL and Orange Power Studios is located. We'll have our mental health services there, our counseling services, our career development and leadership services. So it'll really be a one-stop shop for success for all of our student athletes in every sport. But then you're right, we've got obviously the best historical wrestling program in college athletics. It's really it's won more championships than any other program in any other sport in college athletics. But we kind of fell behind. We sort of let the Big Ten largely sort of pass us up in our facilities in wrestling. And so we need to come and try to bring that up to and surpass sort of the current standard for Coach Smith to do what we want to happen with Cowboy Wrestling. And that's, compete for and win championships. Dave Smith and the head coach of our track and field and cross country program, we won the women's indoor Big 12 track championship this past season. And we did so being the only school in the conference without any kind of indoor track facility. So if he can win indoor track championships without an indoor track, I'd love to see what he can do if he had an indoor track. And so that's definitely a goal. Obviously, we know what Kenny Gasky's done with the softball program and the popularity of that sport. And so from a fan standpoint and a student athlete development standpoint, we definitely want to give him the tools to be able to do what he does. And then Carson Creek project is actually, that has started. The course will close in October and go under about a year and a half renovation before it reopens. And it's been a spectacular course for our golf programs for 25 years, but it's time to refresh it and bring some new innovation to it. And when it opens, it's going to be right back on top.
Chad, it just doesn't seem fair. I mean, with all this, everything else you're taking care of, now all of a sudden, never been a time when college athletics has had so many just seismic changes. I mean, the portal and, of course, NIL, and Oklahoma State obviously dealing with that as well. All the schools are.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And, we have seen change before, but I think what is unique about this time is the amount of change that's sort of been all lumped together and how fast it's happening. We're all working through the same things. It's impacting, I think, all college athletics the same. Where we continue to have a lot of conversations both internally about how we approach that, how we deal with that, to help our teams continue to compete, put our student athletes in a great position to be able to maximize those opportunities, but also working with our conference members and our national, across the country, sort of our national peers on what are the best practices to this. It's something that I think is going to continue to evolve. It's different now than it was 6 months ago. It'll be different 6 months from now. So I think it is just all about how we evolve with the changing situation. But we've got, as you know, Chris, it comes down to people, and we've got great people that are helping us with this, both internally in the athletic department with our collective Pokes with a Purpose. I feel great about the way we're handling things and the work that's being done there. So we'll continue to be competitive in that area, just like we've been in all other areas.
Well, Chad Tulsa have sold all 123 luxury suites at T. Boone Pickens Stadium and almost all of their 48,000 season tickets. They've had a reduction in the stadium size with new renovations, going from 55,509 seats down to 52,000 for the upcoming season. Northside Stadium work has all been completed. Addition of 2,265 new heat-resistant black chairback seats. We'll get a test of those heat-resistant seats because their opening game, August 31st, against Central Arkansas, kicks off at 1 in the afternoon. Next, the voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, recapping a magical year for the NBA basketball team of Oklahoma.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
No doubt about it, the Oklahoma City Thunder's 23-24 NBA basketball season was a complete success, winning 57 games, becoming the youngest team ever in NBA history to win a Western Conference title and a first-round playoff series when they swept New Orleans. This was also the 16th season of the franchise in Oklahoma City. The team came from Seattle. They brought along their play-by-play announcer, Matt Pinto. He's our guest on the Sportscene show. Matt, did this young Thunder team surprise you this season?
Yeah, I think that the way things came together as quickly as they did, this team really from the start of the season, they won, I want to say by 20 plus on opening night in Chicago on the road. I think, let it be known, and obviously different circumstances filter into blowout wins, but I think this team was ready to go coming out of training camp. Chet Holmgren did a great job during the summer of working with his teammates off of the injury that he suffered a season ago that denied him his pure rookie season after being drafted second overall 2 years back. I think that was significant. The fact that there was continuity in the core of what this team was with Mark Daignault over the last couple of years made a big difference. And they hit the ground running. They're a serious group of young players that have fun together, but they really take what they do to heart. They play for each other. They're really unselfish in the way that they approach things, and highly skilled team, really, really talented team, top to bottom on the roster, really well constructed by Sam Presti.
You look at the past just 5 seasons with this team, Matt, 19 and 20, they were a 44-28 team that lost the first round of the playoffs to the Rockets. 2021, all of a sudden now we're 22 and 50, then 24 and 58, then 40-42 before this turnaround season. A lot of patience by the Thunder fans, and obviously Sam Presti knew how to build a basketball team.
Yeah, and he said back when they made this pivot and stepped away from the Chris Paul season, recognizing that what he had in mind was not sustainable with that group of guys. He needed to go with more of a youth movement, given this market size, utilizing the draft, collecting assets along those lines. He was very transparent what he said, Chris, and that was that our objective here, our vision is to build sustainable, long-term, high-level success. And that's what we're committed to. So how long that takes, how that will look, I don't have the answer, but just know that that's what our objective is. And so along the way, they've done what they've had to do. They had the 2 seasons where they didn't get to 25 wins. Those were building blocks to construct what we now see the foundation of in Oklahoma City.
Some of the key moments of the season, looking back after a win over the Rockets on February 27th, Thunder improved to 40-42, improved better than their 40-42 record the previous year. Then a win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Thunder reached 50 wins for the first time since 2016. 2024 clinched their first playoff berth since 2020. I think it's a win against the New York Knicks, and eventually clinched the first division title since 2016, along the top seed in the Western Conference. Quite a building block.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could have envisioned a top seed, given how deep the West was, the quality of depth, really top at that top rung that entailed Minnesota and Denver and OKC to the wire, to the final day of the season, down through the final play-in spot. I mean, this was a highly competitive Western Conference throughout the course of this season, and this team found a way to endure, be consistent, and bring it night to night. There were not the consistent long tailspins that young teams tend to go through. Their longest losing streak was 3 games. That came late in the season without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or J-Dub. So this team found the ability to stay the course and really be about that day-to-day 0-0 mentality that Mark Daigneault talks about all the time.
First time they got the top seed in the Western Conference is 2013. Youngest team, number one seed since the season began back in 1984. An average age of 2 years younger than the previous record holder, the Phoenix Suns. Amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, and I think this team never allowed age to be any sort of internal detriment. They recognized that they had something special they were building. They played for each other, as I mentioned. There's a system in place that the personnel on this team really suits and fits well. Multiple playmakers, a lot of diversity and ability to play 5-out basketball with Chet Holmgren being that 5th out, picking and popping, an outstanding 3-point shooter during the regular season. And I think they gave teams fits when they had the ball, as good defensively, the way they disrupted opposing teams. So this team played both ends at a really high level, along with Boston, the only 2 teams that were top 5, both in offensive and defensive efficiency and net rating. They were second to the Celtics. So in terms of regular season, this team, I think, proved its mettle over the course of 82 games without question.
Matt Pinto, the longtime voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, their radio voice, play-by-play guy. And Matt, let's go to the playoffs now and the sweep of the New Orleans team down there in New Orleans, 4 straight.
Yeah, and I think what they did in that series, Chris, is they really let the league know they meant business defensively, because they came in and really corralled Brandon Ingram, who, when he's on his game, is as tough a cover as there is in basketball, shoots over the top of guys, very good mid-range player, has added the 3-point shot. When he is in his groove, is also going to get the foul line a ton. Lou Dort and the team scheme by the Thunder completely kept him under wraps the entire series. CJ McCollum, in fact, said after game 2, a 32-point loss to the Thunder in Oklahoma City, they have a togetherness that we need to adopt. Like, we're not as connected and playing for each other the way that they are. And the Thunder wound up sweeping that series 4 victories to none, because their consistency defensively was amazing. They allowed no more than 96 points in any of those 4 games, which is historic in and of itself. And on the offensive side of the ball, Josh Giddey really was able to find traction in the matchup that he had against the Pelicans. That served to help this team vault into the Western Conference semifinals.
Now, they also set another mark there, advanced to the semifinals, making the youngest team ever to advance to the semifinals, surpassing the 2010-11 Thunder. However, then the Dallas Mavericks, and I guess we're seeing now how good the Mavericks are, but a tough 6-game series, and Thunder had all kinds of opportunities to win that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people read way too much into game 1. Game 1, the Thunder dominated. I did a great job establishing the defensive tone against Dallas from the outset of that series, won by 22. Game 2 was very different. The Mavericks, to their credit, given the veterans on their roster, given the way that they have a coaching staff that gets what the playoffs are about, brought changes. They altered some of their coverages defensively and won that second game relatively decisively by 9. That set them into a position where they had home court. The Thunder recaptured that home court advantage by winning game 4 in Dallas, pretty miraculously, recovering from a double-digit deficit to win it by 4. And then it becomes a best-of-3 series. The Thunder didn't play as well in game 5 as they had at any point in the playoffs. So now they're going back to Dallas, down 3-2, seem to have game 6 in hand, up 16 at halftime, led by 17 in the third quarter. Even late, Chris, to go on top the way they did, recovering from the slide they had for that quarter and a half, with 20 seconds to play, needing a stop to force a game 7. I felt really good calling that sequence, and unfortunately, it didn't go their way with that foul call in the corner involving a P.J. Washington 3-point attempt by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Mavericks, to their credit, were the better team over the 6 games. I wouldn't say they're the more talented team. I wouldn't say that in the long haul of a season that I would go that direction. But in the throes of this playoff series, they were the better team, and they earned the right to get to the Western Finals.
We're going right back with Matt Pinto. Second part, we'll take a look at some of the individuals on this incredible Thunder team that had such a great season, and look into the future of the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's next with Matt Pinto.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. The OK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
With Matt Pinto, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the veterans of NBA basketball. Matt, what a great season. Had some great individuals, and of course, number one, SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, in fact, just named the first team All-NBA.
Yeah, unanimous first team for a second straight year, which tells you what the league, perceives he is and the consistency that he's brought. This season, Chris, I think that it's very subjective always how the MVP balloting comes down, but Shai did something only Jordan and Steph Curry had done. And in the seasons those guys did it, they were the most valuable players in the NBA, averaging more than 30 points a game, knocking down at least 50% of their shots from the field, and more than 2 steals collected on the defensive end. He led the league in steals, and yet he fell a bit short to Nikola Jokic of Denver for the overall MVP, but was the runner-up. I think he showed incredible progress in terms of his own leadership, the consistency he brings, the way he continues to ratchet up his efficiency on the defensive end of the floor is stellar. And this team is excited about what he'll bring moving forward. He's not at peak yet, and it's exciting to see him continue to grow into what peak form will look like in the NBA, but really a throwback player in that he'll shoot the three occasionally, shot it at a higher level this season, but he's a mid-range master. And those guys against defenses, the way they're constructed today, are incredible assets to have on a roster. And he proved himself through the course of the playoffs. Even in the loss to Dallas, he was the best player in that series, a series that involved Luka and Kyrie Irving.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, native of Canada, played one season in Kentucky. And how did the Thunder end up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Well, he came over, and it wasn't a throw-in by any stretch, but he was the primary player they got when they traded Paul George to the LA Clippers. After one season in the league with the Clippers, Shai was a primary part of that package with Danilo Gallinari, the multiple first-round picks, and now Shai has blossomed into a guy that many deem a superstar on this level, just an unstoppable offensive force and one that's so disruptive on the defensive end.
SGA appeared in 75 of the Thunder's 82 games. The stats are incredible. Averaged 30.1 points a game, 6.2 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 2 steals in 34 minutes of play. Shot 53.5% from the field, and the ranked third in NBA scoring and second in steals. What a performance!
Yeah, and again, it was the consistency. He missed very few games. When they needed a stop, he'd come away with one. He was third among guards in block shots. So a lot of fans gravitate to steals and blocks, but I think the way he used his length to impose the ability for this team to be disruptive at the level that they were, teaming with Lou Dort, teaming with Cason Wallace when he was on the court, J-Dub, who was an extraordinary defender this season. This team is really difficult to crack on the defensive end because Chet Holmgren provided that last line of defense, great rim protection as well.
SGA mentioned as the second consecutive first-team NBA All-NBA player, becoming the third player in team history to do so, joining Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. With this selection, I thought it was interesting too, Matt. Oklahoma City now has a total of 19 All-NBA selections, 10 first-team All-NBA selections, both of which led the NBA since 2008, 2009. So a lot about Sam Presti and the talent he's put together.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 6 absolute Hall of Famers that have played for the Thunder through the years. Shai certainly is trending that way. Who knows what Chet Holmgren and J-Dub are going to become. But yeah, he's got an incredible knack. He knows what he's looking for when he scouts talent. He will eliminate players based on them not suiting the different skill set, the different mindset that he's looking for to bring into Oklahoma City. And it certainly served this organization and this community extraordinarily well over the years.
As he wrapped up this season, Chet Holmgren and Casey Wallace also received all rookie team honors. And talk about those two seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what he did to revolutionize this team offensively, and I mean that word, was off the charts. This team jumped from a season ago being a good offensive team to being a truly elite one, because what he did is he forced opposing defenses to pick poison. If they're going to stay with a bigger player, a more girthy player to attack the glass, they've got to pay the price by having a smaller guy on him. When he picked and popped, became a legit three-point threat, very good playmaker, had the ability to go to the post and make things happen. And this team really melded and meshed well with his skill set. I thought Mark Daigneault did an exceptional job of making certain that happened. And this team averaged more than 120 points a game, was third in scoring, was third in overall offensive efficiency, led the league in three-point accuracy. So during the regular season, they were a terror when they had the ball.
And his rookie campaign, this was his rookie campaign, after sitting out all his first season as the number one draft pick, he played in all 82 games. That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, and I think that was a commitment he had internally. He never verbalized it, but he found a way to play through the discomfort that goes on in the throes of an 82-game season, the 5 games in 7 nights, the 4 games in 5 nights. Sometimes the schedule serves up. They had a hellacious month of January, but he didn't miss a beat. Helped his team win 11 of 17 games in the month of January, which was primarily played on the road. Just the ultimate professional, and to me, the ultimate winner. He makes the small plays that sway the scoreboard on both sides of the ball. And his teammates talked about how fearless he was, protecting the rim, altering shots through the course of the season. Also had the ability to step out on the court and switch and become very durable and flexible to provide different aspects to the Thunder defense, depending on coverages that they decided to go with to throw opposing teams off.
Hogan was a 23-24 stats, 16.5 points a game, 53% shooting from the field, along with 7.9 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 2.32 blocks. The only rookie in Thunder history to record 1,000 plus points and 500 plus rebounds, and he made history of becoming one of only 2 NBA players to have at least 150 blocks, 150 assists, and 100 made 3-point field goals. It's quite a resume.
Yeah, and that other guy was Victor Wembanyama, who won Rookie of the Year this season. But I get that Victor is going to be a generational talent. I'm taking nothing away from that for him long term. But if you're voting on an award that's team geared, 57 wins, the number 1 seed, Chet's impact on that for the Thunder, to me, Chet should have been Rookie of the Year in the NBA this season.
Wallace appeared in 82 games, the Thunder 13 starts, averaged 6.8 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 5th among all rookies, 3-point line. In fact, early on in the season, he was really hitting 3 points.
Yeah, he was exceptional this season. I mean, the durability he brought. He was 19 the majority of the season, didn't turn 20 until the tail end of the regular season, into the playoffs. A fearless approach, a guy that has an incredible knack for what he does off the ball defensively, became better on the ball, would take on any assignment Mark Daigneault threw at him. Mark's trust in him, his teammates' trust in him built as the season went on. This guy's a special talent and is going to be an exceptional, I think, player long-term for OKC.
And Wallace mentioned that first 25 games at 50% from the field, came out the 3rd player in NBA history to connect on 50% from that distance in his first 25 games.
Yeah, I think that he brought an NBA-ready game. Although he was only 19 when the season started, there was a physical maturity about the way he approached things, very willing to take coaching, a sponge that way, but also had a confidence, a quiet confidence. When he was open and his feet were set, opposing teams paid the price. And that was an element I'm not sure the Thunder knew would be there from the outset at the level it was, but that was certainly a pleasant surprise.
Matt Pinto, the veteran play-by-play man for the Oklahoma City Thunder, their voice in all 82 games this season. He keeps rolling along here. Matt, let's talk about what else does this team needs? What do they need to take the next step?
That's going to be an assessment that Sam Presti and the basketball operations staff make. But I think when you look at the growth they showed, 57 wins, right there with Denver and Minnesota battling for that top seed. They ultimately wound up getting it as the Nuggets surprisingly lost to San Antonio late in the season, opening the door for the Thunder to accomplish that. I think that the growth that goes on internally is going to be a significant part of what this team is committed to. They have the 12th overall pick in the upcoming NBA draft. They'll have some cap space. They have a lot of draft assets. So I think Sam, will do the tireless, meticulous job he always does in scouring the market, taking a look at where might there be opportunities that present themselves that would benefit this team now and in the future. But to get specific about needs, I think a lot of people talk about rebounding. Chris, I think this team recognized there are trade-offs. When you play on the smaller side and you bring the versatility the Thunder did, they trumped whatever the issues were on the glass when they surfaced at a level that had them the number one seed in the Western Conference. So I think allowing this team to continue to kind of breathe and grow together is going to be significant in their big picture development.
I know the big national people all have talked about what the Thunder need. They build more physicality, they need more physical team, and rebounding. They're out rebounding that Dallas series 47-31.
Yeah, and I think that's the natural place to go. I think, when we look at the strengths of this Thunder team, again, they led the league in three-point accuracy because they spaced the floor. They forced opposing defenses to scramble around, which put them in position to generate more than 120 points a game. So, again, that's a pay grade well above mine. Sam Presti, I know, is going to be all over that. They went into this season, Chris, really feeling as if whatever needs might surface would reveal themselves as the season unfolded. So they'll get to work and do their best to maximize the assets that they have to plug whatever holes they might see. But again, I think the biggest part of it's going to be this team continuing to mature together, to grow together, because the way this roster is built, it's deep. It has exceptional skill in various areas that give opposing teams fits.
And finally, Matt, a tip to the fans, your impression of the home court advantage the Thunder had, how the fans responded to them, and I've never seen so many T-shirts handed out.
Well, I mean, and this run for the Thunder in the playoffs saw them hand out their 1 millionth T-shirt in terms of their playoff pass. So that was kind of a fun milestone moment. But no, I mean, the home court advantage, there's none like it in all of the NBA come playoff time. The Thunder felt that. It certainly showed itself in a big way. It was fun to see that environment back. But during the course of the season, this team was dominant at home, won 33 games at home, which sets them into elite status as well. And the sixth man is a big part of that. Loud City, as loud as ever in this playoff run for this team.
So, Matt, do you finally take a breath? What is your off season like?
It's a lot of family time. My son's in high school, plays high school baseball. So there are a lot of travel trips with him around the area, which I'll maximize, and just really reacquainting myself with family and getting back into some normalcy given the length of the season. But what a season it was, incredibly memorable, and a lot of excitement for what might be ahead.
And again, record setting for Matt Pinto. How many games NBA have you called now, Matt?
Well, it was 3,000 back in March. So whatever that number translates to now, who's counting?
Rick Dickson just retired as the University of Tulsa Athletic Director at the end of this past month. But before he went into retirement, we had him join us here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Justin Moore has just taken over as the new athletic director at the University of Tulsa, coming here from Texas A&M. He replaces the Tulsa alum Rick Dickson, who just finished a 32-year career in college athletics, including 2 stints here at TU. On an earlier show, I asked Rick how Tulsa got him to come back in 2020.
Chris, it was interesting. Early on, the calls I was getting, and they had an interim president, Janet Levitt, at the time, and I'd heard from several board members, several former board members who were part of hiring me back in the late 80s. just the importance and the really critical time TU was facing, kind of at an impasse, and they're really worried about the future, and some alternative considerations, maybe dropping down a level, maybe dropping sports, things like A sport and things like that. And I just said you can't do that. It's so intertwined with the DNA of the university and the city. And their response was, well, if you feel that strongly, you better come. And initially, I had had offered to consult and help them. They just didn't feel like they were in a position where they could operate with a consultant. So initially, it was a 9-month agreement that we'd come up through COVID from October through.
You
through
leave a
June.
hurricane and you come to a COVID. Golly,
Oh, that was a piece of cake.
Oh, wow. Gee whiz.
Piece of cake. At least COVID was over, within a period of time where the after effects of a hurricane really went on for a decade.
Devastating, yeah.
So,
well, you've done a great job mentioning hiring coaches, and as soon as you came back here, you hired Kevin Wilson, head football coach. Of course, Eric Conkle, head basketball men's coach, and great hire Angie Nelp, our women's basketball coach, just got a new extended contract, well-deserved, well-earned.
no question. She's really injected, enthusiasm and a style of play and a culture there that I've always believed TU should have outstanding. We've had such, noteworthy women's athletics with Dale McNamara and what she built in women's
Nancy
golf
Lopez
and Nancy, all of that, and women's tennis has been great out there. Women's the cross country and track programs, and for whatever reason, we'd only had a few highlights throughout history in women's basketball, but. A couple things. Angie was somebody that kind of fit the profile, but I really liked the aspect that she was an former Oklahoma high school player of the year, Gatorade player of the year, and had gone out of state and played at Colorado State. But throughout her coaching career, she had continued at multiple stops, 3 or 4 different stops, to recruit the state of Oklahoma. Yeah. And that's what we were looking for, somebody that had connections, had relationships, had pipeline, and quickly, started just like Kevin and his staff have done on the football side of it, started making inroads early on. And but really, too, I think a lot of what it really caught on, particularly this season, was the style of play. It's really fun to watch these young women play. They play, kind of a Golden State Warrior style of constant movement, sharing the ball, fast-paced, a lot of three-pointers, and they're fun to watch. Yeah. And so it's, to see crowds of over 5,000 in women's basketball at TU, that was pretty remarkable. So.
And Coach Conkle looks like he's getting things turned around now too.
Eric
just
will.
a second season.
I'm very confident in Eric. Yeah. That's probably the toughest lift and challenge that anybody has, and not unique to TU, but college basketball out there today is probably the most chaotic and volatile of all the sports. That's where at the highest levels, some of the NIL activity there and the activities going on around it are probably more out of control and volatile than any other sport we have right now. So he's a wonderful coach, an even better person.
That's for sure.
He's building a good program, good culture, and he'll get it going.
We had Coach Wilson on the show last week, and he's tell me, fighting up above your weight class. I'm admit you go to take the offensive coordinator from Ohio State. You've been in Oklahoma, been a head coach in Indiana, now the head coach of Tulsa. Wow. Pretty good resume.
Sounds like a good progression to me.
I'd say so. God, perfect. And he's really excited about the team this year, too.
He is. They're going to be young.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, as we spoke off camera, that's kind of the nature of what we're doing at this level is, I don't know that people recognize or realize it's really one of the kind of fallouts and outcomes of all these, the transfer differences today is across the board in all NCAA sports, high school recruiting is down dramatically.
Oh, for sure.
We're talking over 50%.
Yeah.
And I think it absolutely, between their plan, their work ethic, but also the fact that 50% less high school prospects are signing Division I scholarships in all sports.
True.
So,
well, let's take a look at the Rick Dickson scorecard. It's impressive. He became his athletic director the second time around here in 2020 to now 2024. 10 conference championships. All-time team-high GPA 3.34. All-time record. I know you're awfully proud of that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's TU. That's who we are. It's who we've been. One of the greatest improvements have really been in the men's football program, as they've had their highest in over 26 years. Our overall, as you mentioned, for all athletes is almost a 3.4. Extremely proud of that group. But at the same time, they're excelling in competition too, and that's important, right? We keep score.
And the athletic director's big job, of course, is fundraising, and done a great, some innovative programs, Rick. I love the all-time the Golden Hurricane Champions Fund, the Case Fund, and a lot of facilities renovations have taken place over the last few years.
Yeah, we needed fuel, Chris. We really did. And a lot of that goes back to the importance of reconnecting, re-engaging ourselves with this community. That's what I'd known from a young kid coming into the old Skelly Stadium, watching games, and then watching decades of TU basketball and baseball and sports like that, and how important that was. But I think and that's where Brad Carson, when he came on, really bought into the idea of let's create energy, and we talked through a lot of expanding, improving, elevating our game day experiences in all our sports. And I think people have taken notice, and you're seeing just a new energy and synergy of young families and young kids coming to events, and that's really the future.
I'm interested too to notice you have a fundraising drive that actually winds up the same day you retire on June 30th. TU fans can
ironic.
They can join the Golden Hurricane Champions Fund for just $300. Listen to this: you get women's basketball tickets, 4 tickets for that for 4 people. You get Olympic sports tickets. You get parking pass for basketball and football, which is gold around TU.
No doubt.
Great point, but it's $300. That's a heck of a buy.
It's a great buy, but it's really about just the invitation for people to see, young men and women competing at the highest level collegiately in our own hometown. Chris, we're competing in the highest level from a conference standpoint that we've ever been in. And for that to be able,
smallest enrollment in all the college athletics.
Smallest FBS university in the country.
Yeah.
And as you know, and others too, Tulsans know, we've always competed above our weight. That's
no
just
doubt,
who we are. And we do it with the great young guys and gals. And the fact that they wear Tulsa across their jersey doesn't say University of, it says Tulsa.
Yeah.
And they're representing all of us. And I'm so proud of the way they do it.
Join us next week right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We'll have Steve Lassen, the college football editor for Athlon Sports Magazine, talk about their special features, run down all the teams, and his predictions on who'll make the college football 12-team playoffs. You're always should make the cut. We'll let you know. Dale Apollo Cook, Hall of Famer and martial arts artist, is going to be with the show. And we'll have a special tribute out of our vault of archive material with Ron Turcotte, Hall of Fame jockey of the great Triple Crown winner Secretariat. Also a special musical tribute, Here's to the Heroes, to the great horse Secretariat. All that next week, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.